What up, guys? Yeah, we have another beer review today, and it's finally here. It's finally happened. We are getting into the winter Christmas beers. Thank God. It is, in my opinion, the best seasonal time of beers, period. I will take Christmas, winter, seasonal over any other time, and so yeah, and for this week, or this episode, Sam Adams Winter Lager kicks it off. And I'm going to be perfectly honest, I don't know if I've ever had it before. Yeah, I think it's one of those things that's always been there, but I've always kind of been like, there's other stuff. The other stuff I'd probably rather have. I'll get around to it. The only way I've had this before is if back in the day I used to go to the old Chicago restaurant. They always had like a beer tour during the year, and you drink like 12 beers and you get like a t-shirt or something like that. I might have had it at that time. I probably did, to be perfectly honest, but just straight up buying it from the store, I don't believe that's happened before. I could be wrong, but I'm not remembering any of it. But this year it's got this nice green label, and it is a festive Bock with spices. We'll see what all that means, but let's crack this sucker open, get pouring. And now I have a few other non-seasonal beers left in the fridge that I want to make sure I take care of. So for the next couple weeks, it'll probably be every other beer. There'll be a winter seasonal beer, then something else. And then, so in like 3 weeks, it'll be just straight winter seasonal for the rest of the year. Anyways, so alright, we got that poured. There is no head, but a nice color. Anyways, let's get into the review, get into the smell. It definitely has that Bock aroma to it, but a lighter Bock. It doesn't smell overly heavy or super thick, which you can sometimes get. You never know. It does have a deeper, richer, more matured kind of fruitiness to it. Almost like a dark cherry plum skin kind of thing. You know, like that not sweet, not super sweet, not super like vibrant, but you got a bit in there. The front label said spices. I don't know what the spices are. After the beer review, I'll read whatever those spices are on the back label. We'll see if I picked any of those up. But I'm not really smelling any much spice. There might be a hint of like a I don't know. I'm not really getting much spice at all to it. So I'm not picking up that winter spice aroma that I think of. But I think it smells pretty good. I think it smells like just a solid Bock. And so I'll recommend it on aroma. Now let's get into the taste. Alright, you do get a bit of some of that seasonal kind of spice. It's very light. Again, I'll say this with a lot of Sam Adams beers. They don't push a lot of the heavy seasoning or the spices. It's a little safe. That's not necessarily bad, but they don't really push the envelope. And, I get it. You want to attract the masses. That's what a Sam Adams is. It's that beer that attracts the people that want more flavor than your regular Budweiser or whatever. But they're not pushing it super crazy. You can get that with plenty of other local smaller craft beers. So this is a nice, safe winter beer. It's light on the back. You get a very subtle touch of that kind of nuttiness to it. Very subtle. It's super easy to drink. I think the ABV was 5.6, which is actually pretty close to what most Sam Adams are. Most Sam Adams are kind of in that middle 5.5 range, unless you're getting like that $300 one. And it also has 22 IBUs. Just throw it out there. Easy to drink, light on the nuttiness. I'm trying to pick out what that spice is. You get again a little hint of like a toasted malt. Again, that's subtle. There might be like a dash of nutmeg or that's not clove. Maybe a dash of like a nutmeg. There's not a lot. It's a very muted Christmas or winter beer. I guess for me, I want the winter seasoning, the spices, whatever, to be a little more prominent for me. Because I guess we got like 3 months or 2.5 months to enjoy those winter beers. I want something that's a little more, it has more of that seasonal punch to it. I think a lot of that comes from growing up where it was super snowy out, and I just really embraced that. Like when you walk into the store and you get that pine cone cinnamon aroma and all that stuff. Like there's a lot of spices and aromas that I have connected to the holidays that I don't really get in maybe some of the warmer weather areas. They're just not as prominent, maybe because you're just outside longer. But this is it's very muted for a lot of that stuff. It's almost like winter lager light. It's a fine tasting bock. It's easy to drink, but it's very light on the spices, the winter seasonings. With that said, it is very easy to drink. It's enjoyable to drink. It's something that you get a 6-pack and you just, it's kind of, go through. And it's something that you can get and play it safe with other people if you don't really know what they're going to like. So I'll recommend it for taste. It is a safe winter lager. All right, next category is value for price. And, you know what a Sam Adams costs. Sam Adams almost teeters on the point of being a little overpriced for what it is. But still, I think I paid $1.79 for this. That's fair. It's hard for me to call this it's so big, it's hard to call it a craft beer, but I think technically it did. I don't know what the definition of craft is anymore, but it's not owned by anybody else. But $1.79 for one, if you just want to try it, it's fair. So I'll recommend it on about the price. All right, next category is distinction. How distinct is it? And honestly, for me, it doesn't push the winter tastes enough. I want more of it. That's what I want from my winter beers. I want those the spices. I want to taste the spices. I'd almost rather have you go too deep, too crazy with the spices than pull back too much. And it doesn't quite have what I'm looking for. It almost, it's kind of like a standard Bock with just like a, whatever that meme was with the dude, with the salt or whatever. That's what it is. It's very light on the winter seasonal tastes, and I wish there was more. So, distinction, I'm not going to recommend it on distinction. I was thinking about giving it a half, but it just doesn't have enough of that wintry element to it that I'm looking for, which is disappointing because when I got this from the store, they have the little tags under the beers if they're rated well on one of the many beer rating systems, and this had very high. I don't know if it was like a 90 or whatever, very high. But I feel like, I don't know, it's just, maybe there's just a million people rating it, but for me, it doesn't have that winter aspect to it that I want. I'm not saying it's a bad beer in general. It's a fine beer, but it's not the winter beer that I'm looking for. It's not the beer you're looking for. So I'm not going to recommend it on that. I just wish it had a little more winter oomph. All right, drinkability. That is something I will recommend. It is a very easy beer to drink. Very easy. It doesn't get bland. The taste remains. It's not uber complex, but it is a nice beer that you can just kind of drink. You don't even need to have food with it. I think it's fine just to go on its own. It doesn't need to be paired with anything. So it's a good beer to drink. It's easy to drink. The alcohol content isn't crazy. I think it's just kind of the alcohol and the taste is a nice blend. So I think it goes well. So I will recommend it on drinkability. And last category is would I buy it again? And I mean, I think the only way I'd get it again is if I was going someplace and I had to get like a kind of a beer that I knew like everybody was going to be cool with. But for me, this is my favorite time of the year for beer, and it doesn't have the kind of flavors that I want. So more likely than not, I will not be buying it again. It's not doing it for me, you know? It's like I want that extra winter oomph. So maybe the next one. So yeah, I will not be getting it again. But anyways, let's read what the back of the thing is. Let's see if there's some taste that obviously I didn't pick up. But it's festive Bock with spices. Let's see what these spices are. Winter lager, rich malt. All right, we got that. Accents of cinnamon, ginger, and orange peel. I don't know, man. Maybe if you really go hunting for that cinnamon, maybe. But I feel like if somebody has to tell you that it's in it and like you failed at including it, it's like I couldn't like. Is it? Okay, like I'll take your word for it, but I'm questioning that because I'm not getting much of that. I mean, maybe like I'm not getting much of the cinnamon, ginger. I'm going. I can see the orange peel. I can see that. I can go for that. The other two, I'm just like, I'm not getting any of that. Maybe you are. Let me know if you are. I mean, cinnamon, okay, maybe if you dig deep enough, but it's again, make it more prominent. I want it more prominent. If you're putting cinnamon in it, let me really taste it. It's the holidays. Let me really taste that cinnamon. I feel like you didn't do a good job with that. Are just the right companion for decking the halls, your holiday table, your fridge, your hand. You get the picture. No matter what or how you celebrate, do it with a winter lager. I'm cool with cinnamon and ginger. I don't know. For me, ginger's not really winter spice, but whatever. But you put cinnamon in, fine. Put more of it in. So, yeah, but that's about it. I thought it'd be kind of interesting if you guys haven't had it before. If I can I read the back of the label for the first time after I review it to see if So I thought that it could be interesting. But what do you guys think of winter lager? Do you like it? It is very favorably reviewed according to the sign at the beer store. I feel like it's a Sam Adams. I don't need any super crazy help selling it, so maybe I'm missing something. It's easy to drink, but for me, it misses the mark for a winter beer or for a holiday spice beer. But anyways, let me know what you think in the comments. Subscribe to all that good stuff, and I will have more winter seasonal beers coming at you shortly. But so for myself and for Sam Adams Winter Lager, take it easy.